Okay, so Zelda Breath of the Wild was actually the first Zelda game I ever beat.
All right, that's good. It's a good one to start on.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, no, here's what I have to say. So I never want to say anything to you prior to this only because like the candid reaction and the genuine reaction and all that. But so I thought Breath of the Wild going into like the first time I played it, I got up to the first Divine Beast, I didn't beat it. And then it literally took almost a year later where I was like, okay, I want to see it through because everybody raves about it, and everything about Zelda. And then the second time I started, it was like, okay, this was pretty good. I thought the whole aspect of
You didn't restart it though, did you?
Oh, I restarted it, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I'm starting off fresh. So then I did you got to get the 3 shrines. You got to get what, 4 shrines where they intersect. You go there, and then the guy's like, okay, do this, and you get the glider. Yeah, I redid all that. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool or whatever. But I don't know. Here's another thing. It's like, okay, I invested honestly probably hundreds of dollars into like the Zelda amiibo because if you buy them 12, there's 10 of them. Let's say that's over $100, whatever.
Right.
And so maybe when I got to the first shrine, somebody, because I was twitching it or whatever, somebody was like, hey, you should just use the Zelda, or like, are you using the amiibo? Or I'm like, what do the amiibo do? Blah, blah, blah. And then somebody said like, well, you bought them, you should use them. And I was like, well, you got yourself a really good point there.
I guess.
So this was prior to beating, like, the first one was Water Blight Ganon, I guess, inside Mifa's little thingy. What is that?
Yeah.
The elephant divine beast? Yeah. So I was like stacked, dude. I'm pulling out this bow and arrows, bomb arrows.
Yeah.
Beat it, no problem. Like, just walk in, walk out, bam, no problem. But I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And I was like, the amiibos might be breaking the game, but at least it's like, I feel like I'm moving forward. Then I still want to scavenge and like find stuff, explore and all that. I was like, cool. Shrines, awesome. Shrines are hands down the best part of the game, 100%. Like, just exploring them and trying to figure that out. So I was like, okay, that's really cool. Okay, and then let's say after that, I did the Divine Beast with the Gorons, which would be like the lizard.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then after that, I did the one with Rivali and the bird.
Okay.
Once again, I was like, cool, the Ganons weren't too bad. I thought they were like, whatever.
Right.
After that, then I did the Thunderblight Ganon, which would have been with the camel with the Garuda people. Is that how I said? See, first of all, like, I couldn't get down with the Gerudo at all. Because I feel like, they're like against men, but then you like talk to them and they're like, oh, but I'm looking for my soulmate. I feel like was the whole thing. Like they're looking for men, but then they won't. Like their logic just didn't flow with me.
Yeah, their whole thing is super weird though. But the Gerudo are like that's what Ganondorf is.
Okay.
Is like a Gerudo,
and like then a Gerudo guy.
Yeah, and there's only a guy every 100 years. A guy is only born every 100 years to the Gerudo people.
That's messed up.
It's super weird. I don't know how, but that's the way it is. And so that's the thing. So it's like if you can be the one who like has the kid and your kid is a male, like that's like a huge thing.
Yeah, but that whole thing just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't,
because
but it's
like,
a video game.
Yeah,
so.
So it's like whatever, throw that all out the window. But like that place wasn't like that whole. When I was playing it, I was like, is there like a background story to these people? And they were like, whoever were watching were like, no, not really, or whatever. Maybe that's true, I don't know. But it's like, that one was like, whatever. And I also had a problem beating Thunderblight Ganon. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I died like multiple times when he had the last speck of health. But it's a whole Thunder thing. Like, it was very weird where it's, like, to get him out of, like, at first I thought there was a mechanic, because in that whole dungeon or whatever, there's like those green tubes. Think of like Bane's stuff, he's got like the green and all that. But it was like of electricity. So somebody that was like, hey, don't let him go over the green tubes because then he picks up electricity again. And I was like, that's a cool mechanic. Like, it makes sense. There's electricity flowing through it. But no, that doesn't even exist as a mechanic. It was just like he randomly kept getting electricity.
Yeah, he'll get it. Like
it had nothing to do with the green tubes and all that stuff, whatever that was.
But did you end up figuring out like what to do? Like, you're supposed to use magnesis. He drops all those pins,
and you just send one up to him, you hit him.
And you just grab one, and then you send it, and you, like, hold it over to him, and when all the lightning strikes, the lightning will strike him, and then he'll fall down.
Correct, but then after that, I still have, like, at least, a quarter of health or something, like, in there.
Mm.
And I would wait for him to, like, lose his magnetic shield, and then I would go and attack him, but it was either not fast enough, or then he would hit me, and then I'd lose the weapons, and I'd be like, are you serious right now?
Yeah,
like,
that was the worst part, was losing the weapons.
I didn't find a good part to, like, block his actual lightning and then actually attack him. Like, that was like, okay. But after that one, I was like, okay, all the Divine Beasts are gone now. And then I actually went to get the Master Sword, so then I went and I got the Master Sword. I got every, like, little tower in the map so I could see the entire map. And then I was like, all right, let's do Ganon. And this was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was, whoever was watching, I was like, you think I could beat this in like the next half an hour? Just got to be done with it, because I was like, I want to start playing something else. But I want to see it through. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, not a chance. Like, especially your speed, like, it took you so long. They're like, if you had a problem on Thunderblight Ganon, it's over. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But so I like teleported to like one of the main towers that's kind of by Hyrule Castle, and I just started running towards it. And then I kept using Rivali's Gale to just get up high, float down, get up high, float down. And then I'm like, dude, and then I'm talking to him. I'm like, okay. I'm like, wait, I'm at like the top of Hyrule Castle. I'm like, where am I supposed to go? They're like, no, you're supposed to go through the door. So then I actually had to go down from the roof into Hyrule, and then I go into the castle, cutscene spawn. But I got there in like record timing, like 5-10 minutes.
Right.
And it wasn't
you
bad.
just flew to the top. There's like Hyrule Castle is the best part of the game, and that's the part that like you need to explore. And like this game seriously did not feel like a Legend of Zelda game until I got to Hyrule Castle.
Really?
And I spent so much. I probably spent the majority of my time in Hyrule Castle, just like exploring, looking for everything, like looking around. Like there's like a library in there, and you can like move bookshelves around. You can go to like the kitchen kind of area where there's like all the food and everything. You can go into like where there's like an armory where you can get like these stacked weapons, like all this crazy stuff. Like there's all this awesome stuff in Hyrule Castle, and it's like a huge area of the map. It's like it's its own city is Hyrule Castle. Or, like, you can do what you did, which was you just use Rivali's Gale, fly all the way to the top, go down one level, and then you're in the Sanctum, and then you fight the boss.
Hey, do you remember the shrine?
Without, like, doing all the everything. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, do you remember the shrine that's by, like, the Gorons and the lava, and it's kind of like you had to take a cart into it?
Yeah.
I just found, like, a high level, and I parachuted straight into it.
Yep.
Or not parachute, but paraglided into it, and I just teleported out back to the other shrine afterwards.
Yep.
And, like,
and it's like, but you can do that. Like, that's the thing. The game, you can literally do whatever you want in this game, however you want in this game.
Yeah.
And that's why this game is so good.
Okay.
Because it will let you do whatever, however.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not one set way to do everything. Your experience was totally different than my experience, and that's awesome.
100%. But so then I get to Ganon or whatever, cutscene plays, and then it's like, okay, the Divine Beast, everybody calls upon it, his health goes in half. I was like, okay, whatever. And I didn't, like, gather any more resources or anything. I was, like, low on arrows. I was basically, like, low on whatever. And I went in to fight him, and, like, his first phase is easy maybe until, like, whatever goes down, and then he starts, like, putting himself on fire or whatever.
Yeah.
And all that, and I was like, okay, it's whatever, because then I used the Goron shield, and then it would break his fire, and then I'd have an opportunity to attack him, just use the Master Sword. But then I literally got him down to, like, the last speck of health. My Goron shield was gone, and every time, like, his laser would shoot at me, the deflection just destroyed my shield. And so I had 0 shields, nothing, and I was like, it's over. And I'm, like, trying to hit arrows at him, nothing's damaging him because he's, like, on fire.
Right.
And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But then, obviously, you could just wait. The Goron shield comes back. So I was like, I can't... Like, is there a different way I was supposed to fight him there once I had no shields and nothing?
No, only because, so, like, again, like, exploring Hyrule Castle, you eventually find the Hylian shield, which is the best shield in the game. And I think it's something like 27 times you can have, like, a Guardian laser hit it and deflect it before the shield breaks. Every other shield is you deflect it, it breaks. But you're also supposed to... You can... Instead of just holding your shield up and having the thing hitting it and it just like bounces off, you're supposed to like parry at the time that the laser hits you and you send the thing back at him.
But see, once you're Goron, like out of shields,
the Goron thing does it by itself.
Yeah,
the Goron thing will automatically do it. Yeah, but like like the mechanic is you're supposed to use your shield. So like if you run out of shield, it's like, well, you should have done it before you ran out of shields.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like,
that's,
come better prepared.
That's what I didn't like, where it was like, hey, I'm out of shields and all this, and now I gotta wait for this to respawn. That was like, whatever.
Yeah, or you could
but I was still cool with it all.
Or you could have used the Urbosa's Fury, because that's what I did, because I didn't know you were supposed to deflect things.
Yeah.
But if you use Urbosa's Fury, that will like take down like this much of his health like every hit. So it's like you use Urbosa's Fury 3 times and he needs like 2 hits and he's dead.
But then that makes me think like people who speedrun it and beat this in an hour, they have none of the Divine Beast stuff, and then it's like they...
Yep, so the people who beat... So if you don't do the Divine Beasts and you get to Ganon, he has full health.
Yeah.
And you have to fight all 4 of the Blights and then Ganon. So it's like 5 boss fights in a row, and Ganon has all of his health.
How do they do it though? Do you know? Did you ever see it?
Mm-hmm. They just get good weapons and that's it. And then they just like do like the dodge thing where like it slows down and they attack and just stuff like that.
It's like a Dark Souls game.
It's insane like how good these people are, but like
I kind of want to see that, but
yeah, I think the fastest one is like 40 minutes. It's like 39 minutes or something.
It's mind blowing because
So
it probably took me that long. It honestly probably took me that long for the phase after you defeat Ganon. This is where this is what ruined the game for me. So it's like after you defeat Ganon, he comes back as like the beast on like all 4s. That totally ruined it. Because first of all, it's like, okay, hey, Link, here's your golden bow, blah, 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 use it. And it's like, okay. So I run and I pick it up. And first of all, the game should have automatically, like, then equipped it. Because first of all, I'm running around with arrows and I'm like, poo, poo, poo. And I'm like, they're doing nothing. And I'm like, oh, I don't even have this thing equipped. Like, you're at a hype moment.
Are you shooting the spot that you're supposed to shoot, though?
Yeah, but I wasn't using the right... Like, bow. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't equip the gold one.
Okay.
But it's like you're at this epic moment. It's like you grab it and now, oh wait, pause menu. You know what I mean? Equip. So I didn't do that the first time, and I was like, are you serious? Like you can't just equip this. Like this is almost like an interactive cutscene rather than okay, wait, let me manage my inventory. And, and I was like, are you kidding me? And then the absolute worst part was the handling on the horse at the very end. I don't know what it was for you, but like I was trying to go around this beast. There were like the hit blocks or whatever it is, like on the tree. He'd get caught on like all different parts of the tree. Then I run around, I try to stop him. He doesn't stop, and then I'm trying to run. He's like going the right way, and I'm like, "Are you kidding
dude,
me?"
you just had a terrible horse.
Exactly, and then I had to jump off the horse, and I was just running around for a while because I was like, "This is terrible." Like the handling on this horse. So then whatever, I shoot him, and a bunch of times, like I died a few times, obviously because this horse was so bad. Whatever. And then you get to like the very end where it's like, okay, his eyes opening, blah, blah, blah. Shoot him last time. And then every time I just pop, shoot at his eye, just close. And I'm like, seriously, like, what am I supposed to do here? And then I just die. And I'm like, I'm like, do I even want to beat the game at this point? Like, that was literally the worst point this very end.
Oh my God.
Because the horse handling was
that
bad.
That part is literally supposed to take like 5 minutes.
That's
where you just circle around him, and Zelda says, all right, shoot him in the glowing spots. And there's 5 glowing spots on him. And you shoot him there. And then she says, all right, hold on, I'm going to send you some power, and then you're going to shoot him in the head. And then you run around, and then he, like, his whole head, like, starts glowing. His head, like, splits open and, like, all that stuff. And you just are supposed to jump off the horse, shoot him in the head with one arrow, and it's done.
Yeah,
like, literally,
so
it's a 5-minute part.
All that I did was then, I'm like, last time, okay, then I get to the part with the thing, and then I use Rivali's Gale, so I, like, go up, and then I like aim the arrow, and then that's when everything finally stops.
Yeah.
But that ending totally like that horse.
That's insane. I don't believe it took you that long, and like was that difficult.
Oh, it didn't take me like it wasn't. Like
I know,
an
but
hour
like
or
that
anything,
you like
but it's
died
like
and
5-6 times, and I'm
right,
like,
that's
are
crazy.
you serious? Like this is supposed to be like an interactive cutscene where
right,
I'm,
like it was the whole thing is just like
frustrated.
symbolic, pretty much of just like nothing like important is supposed to be happening there.
Yeah, so
it's like just the end of the game.
So yeah, I don't think like after playing that though, like because the story wasn't linear and it didn't like progress and like it was basically like here's the map. Like the way I look at it now is like, you know, you play Super Mario World, I think it is, or Mario Brothers 3, where you have like the map and then you just move around, click. It's basically like you have that map and then it's just all 120 shrines. You're just like clicking on the shrine and doing it. But instead of just moving on the map, they gave you the whole world to just go through. Yeah. You know? So it's like, okay, whatever. So I can appreciate the game for what it is, like the open world and all the shrines and even, I guess, the dungeons, like the Divine Beast and all that. I thought the like final battle, it was fine. It was kind of bogus because it was like you depended on a shield and stuff that you might not necessarily have. Like there should have been a safe way to beat it without waiting for my abilities to recharge, which I'm sure there is, but not a way that it's like you like right off the bat you could be like, oh, you just had to do that, and I'd be like, oh, that makes sense, instead of like, oh no, you needed this shield, blah, blah, and you should have had this one or whatever. And it's like, whatever, which I guess makes sense. So they like want you to play through the game, get all this stuff. But like at a certain point, it's like, let's just, you know, if speedrunners are beating it with nothing and like a spoon, you know, whatever it is, or a torch, it's like I should be able to do that or whatever. So like it was pretty good. I'm excited to like play another one now, which I guess the first question would be, which one would you recommend going to after that one?
After another Zelda?
Yeah.
Probably Ocarina of Time would be the next best one to play.
Now, I like Wind Waker, Skyward Sword.
Wind Waker's good. Skyward Sword's all right. I would say probably Ocarina of Time though, like especially on like 3DS.
Yeah,
is like one of the best. Yeah, that's probably the best next one because that one does have like a good story and is like as similar to Breath of the Wild as you can get with these. And then after that, like you can probably do Wind Waker would be cool, but Wind Waker like near the end of Wind Waker gets like super tough, so like it's hard to recommend that one. And then like Skyward Sword with just like the controls and everything or so, like no one wants to plug in their Wii again and like play with motion controls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, I would say Ocarina of Time is probably your next best one.
That's what I heard too. But I can't believe I was just like so disappointed at the end. I wanted to like, because the whole way through it's like, okay, this is a great open world and I see what everybody's talking about. These shrines are like amazing. Even the dungeons are fun, you know, you got to think about it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't know why that ruined, because it was like you had like this great presentation, you know, and it's like, wow, we could have topped it off with the cherry, but instead they just like took the cake and just like sat on it, you know what I mean? Where it's like this, and that's another thing too. It's like, okay, well maybe you picked the wrong horse. Well, it's like you're not even giving me an option to go back. It's automatically from Ganon to here, so why not just here's the bow, you touch it, you're automatically equipped, and you're on a horse that can handle itself. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So that was like my main gripe with this, where it's like, I can't see how people are like, this game's immaculate, and you're like, and it's like so high on Metacritic. Like I personally can't understand it at this point, where it's like that ending the game. It's like everybody's like, well, is it that important to you, like how the game ends if it was great getting there? But it's like, yeah, kind of. It's like, what if the movie like Yeah, it was a good movie, but then the ending was just like literally terrible. You know what I mean? You'd be like, I don't know. That's like a very important part.
I understand, but then I also would argue with like, but I go to a movie. I don't go to a movie for like the build up or like the experience of going to the movie. I go to the movie. I literally see a movie only for the sole purpose of the story of the movie. Mm-hmm. I don't play video games for the story of the game. If you did, then every Mario game would suck. And the majority of Zelda games would suck. And Pokemon would suck.
Yeah, that's why Odyssey is like I beat it and it's just like...
Right, that's the thing. But like Odyssey is like definitely a 10 out of 10 game. Like this definitely
I don't know if I'd agree with that
all
either.
This stuff. It's like, why? Like... The story, like, in a game, I feel like isn't, like, the most important thing. Like, it's did you have fun playing the game? For me, personally. So it's like, yeah, the gameplay of Zelda was amazing because I put 300 hours into it. Like, yes, it is a great game. It's so much fun to play. Like, there's so much stuff to do. Like, you can go and explore that world literally for hundreds of hours and, like, always find something new to do and, like, a new mission to, like, challenge you and, like, go on and keep going with. And that's, like, what I loved about it. And, like, that's why it's so cool. But, like, Ocarina of Time... Like, you can only do so much, and then, like, you're done, you know? This one literally is, like, it's not endless, because I'm almost done with it, but, like, there's so much stuff that you can do. And, like, I don't know, for, like, the story, like, I feel like the story is there, but, like, did you find all the memories? Did you find all 12 memories?
No, and I think that's kind of a little bit of a gripe, too, but I don't know. But it's, like, you're expecting me to give you 1,000 hours of my time in order to, like, get all this, because you're at how many, like, 400?
300.
Okay, but not 1,000, but like let's just say
but like 400. I also found all 900 Korok seeds. Like I found all 120 shrines. Like all this stuff. Like they've said in interviews, like the reason you don't get anything for finding all 900 Korok seeds, like you literally just get like a little token that says, "Hey, you found all 900 Korok seeds." Like way to go. And the reason they do that is because they're like, we didn't intend for you to find. Like they're not there for you to find all 900. They're there so that like. You only need like 450 to complete your inventory. Yeah. So like the 450 that you find can be different than my 450, but we both complete our inventory. It's just like here's a bunch you need to get this number. How many? Just find whatever you can find. Like you're good. The shrines are the same thing where it's like if you want to max out Link for whatever reason and go all the way, you can, but like you don't have to. It's not required that you do that. But like this option is there. So like the whole game is all based on options. So it's like. You can get as much out of this game as you put into it. Like, if you put in the time to find all 12 memories, then your story experience is going to be better than someone who didn't put in the time to find all 12 memories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so no, but I thought, like, the memories were all, like, maybe I found, like, 3 or something of them,
out of 12, yeah.
But it was, like, they were all, like, good. Like, I enjoyed all the parts where it was, like, a flashback to this or, like, oh, you remember this, and then starting, like, linking his memory together. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, that was great. Like, that should have been part of the story in order to, like... Not like just, a side quest of like, oh, find this thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing is if they would have said, hey, okay, now your next mission, you have to find all 12 of these memories and you have to go to all these spots, well, then that, like, defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah, but I don't think it should have been spots. You know what I mean? Like, there would have been a natural progression, like, at the beginning where you go to, you go to, like, Kakariko Village.
Yeah, and you go to Impa.
Yeah, like, okay, there, and then start connecting the memories, like, in a thing where it's, like you kind of have missions. Like, not, like, when it's a mission, okay, just defeat all 4 Divine Beasts again. Like, there's your mission. Like,
right.
Okay, could you be any more broad and like you built this huge great world and it's like
but
so
that's
good.
The point. So that's like Alex, like when he was talking about it, he's like, yep, they told me and the camera clearly showed me I had to go talk to this old man and I had to go this. And he's like, oh, the old man's over here to the right, so I'm turning left and I'm going over here and it let him do it. And I'm like, exactly, that's the point. The point of the game, like this game was made for the sense of exploration. Like the point of the game is that it doesn't hold your hand and it doesn't tell you what to do. And it's just like, hey, imagine if you were Link just thrown into this world. Like, would you have like a blip on your magic radar that said, hey, go here? Like,
well, I'm not saying you need to be told where to go, but I'm saying
figure it out.
The story could have been tied better in than, okay, now just find these random parts around here and then we're going to start giving you like little parts of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for that, it's like, because every part I got was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I want to learn more about this. And I'm going to say like the ending too, I wasn't impressed with the ending. Where it was like,
no one was.
Link, do you remember me? And then it's like black
screen. Well, that's because you didn't find all the memories. If you get a different cutscene. If you find all 12 memories, then you get a different cutscene.
Yeah.
So like so I've never seen the cutscene you're talking about where she's like, Link, do you even remember me? Mine is, Link, thanks so much for saving me. Like, I knew you'd like never forget me. Like all this stuff, blah blah. And then like go off and like it's like a whole like 10-minute cutscene.
I guess
instead of just oh hey whatever. Yeah. But like I've heard of that ending where it's like, oh yeah, like do you remember who I am, like kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, I never saw that.
Yeah, I found all the memories. But see, and then again for me, it's like I didn't even think, okay, if I find out, like I literally took that as that's like the end of the game because the whole theme and all this was Link had no memory, and it's like okay,
right.
Like,
but that's why you're supposed to go and find memory. Like that's the thing. But it's like a speedrunner would go through and play and like not do it. But that's just like. playing through Pokemon and only catching 20 Pokemon and being like, what the hell, this game sucks. There was only 20 Pokemon in there. Well, you didn't choose to go out and find the other ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't.
So it's like, because you should have gone and found them. Like, if you wanted a better story, you should have gone out and found the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Pokemon's like...
Like, I feel like... I'm talking about even, like, Zelda. Like, if you wanted to know more about his memories, like, you should have gone out and found his memories. Like, it's not the game's fault that you wanted to beat it quickly. No. And move on to your next game.
Actually, it is the game's fault. It should have hooked me even better. You know
I guess.
I mean?
But, like... Hey. I guess. I don't know.
Sorry, Maggie.
I know. She's on hold, but whatever. But, yeah, so it's just, like... You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it should have been...
I want to throw this sidebar out there.
Ahead.
So, I was watching, like, an interview with, like, Jerry Garcia.
Okay.
And he always says, you know what I mean? And people think that, and like they say people with a higher intelligence always say, you know what I mean? In order to help relate to people on like the scale below them. So I see what you're doing there.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm joking. But it was really funny because then they started listing all like the people with high intelligence, how every single one of them was like, you know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. And I was
That's
like,
really funny.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that like everything is there and everything is in place, but this game expects you to be like, I don't want to say like smart enough, but it doesn't treat you like you're stupid.
I just wasn't smart enough, yeah.
Like that's like I think of so many other games. Like I'm just looking at your shelf and like I see Uncharted. And I'm like, okay, Uncharted seriously is like a paint by numbers where it's like, all right, I get my gun, I gotta kill this room full of bad guys. I get a cutscene, I move on to the next room full of bad guys. I get another cutscene. Oh, the game's over.
But what about like Witcher?
Yeah, Witcher's like a huge, like crazy open world game too. Like that's awesome. That's a game
I want
that
the
some
Zelda
people say
Witcher,
is, like,
not
too
the
big.
Zelda like
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like also this is their first thing. Like, go back and play Witcher 1 and tell me it's the greatest game of all time. By the time we get to the third of these Zelda Breath of the Wild games, it's gonna be way better.
Oh, so they're gonna keep going with it.
They already said they are. Like, this is the this is like the format that Zelda's gonna be.
Not impressed. Not gonna lie. Like when I was like 75% away through with this, I was like, dude, this game's great. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm like, DLC, sign me up. I was like, I'll try anything with this. But it's literally that final, like, the Thunderblight Ganon where I was like, wait, there's just something now right here. Yeah. And then that very end of the game, and it was like,
I guess.
I don't know. I never beat one Guardian. The entire thing.
Oh, really?
No, 0.
But, like, I don't understand. So, like,
they were just
what would have made you fight a Guardian, though?
That's what I mean. They were just an annoyance to me.
Like, if, like, they're there and they're ready for, like, you to fight them, but, like, if you don't want to fight them, like, you don't have to fight them.
Exactly. I'm just
like, would
saying.
you rather the game have forced you to fight them? Like, put you in a spot where you were required to kill it? Or would you rather it just be like, hey, go kill it if you want to? Like, or would you rather be enforced? Like, that's what it sounds like, is like, I think that's the beauty of this game, though, is that this whole game, like, the whole theme of the game is just freedom. Like, go do whatever you want. It was like the whole purpose, like that was the whole point of the game, was just, hey, go do whatever you want, is to say, hey, we are not doing a linear Zelda game where you just go from this temple to this temple to this temple, and here's your fire, your grass, and your water, and then you get your 3 things, now you move on to the 5 things. Literally every single Zelda game except Breath of the Wild has that.
So what if you like go to the movie and it's just like a guy's life and he's like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want.
But that's different because you can't compare it to a movie, because like the whole point of the movie is the story. Like the whole point of a video game is not the story. You know what I mean? Like, look at
graphics and gameplay.
Look at like Bloodborne. Like, Bloodborne was all about gameplay. Like, the story of Bloodborne sucked. Like, that was dumb. But like, the game is still like amazing. Like, that's
but
an incredible game.
It has a high reward. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say high risk, high reward, but like, you're gonna put a lot of time here. You're gonna die a lot of times. But when you defeat it, you're like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But so does Zelda. Like, you could.
No, now when I'm driving the horse around, it's like, dude, like, turn a little bit, you know what I mean? It's like,
I guess, but like, that's how you didn't go and fight a Guardian. That's like if I skipped like half the bosses in Bloodborne and I was like, oh, there's only 3 bosses in this game. This game sucks. And it's like, no, because you didn't put in anything into the game. So of course it sucks, because the game's not just going to give you anything. Like, it sounded like you should have just watched You should just watch the Let's Play of this game. Dues. You should have just watched the 12 cutscenes and like watch the real ending and like
maybe I will.
Just watch it on YouTube and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's my whole point, is like,
wait, let's talk about the music. Or lack of?
Yeah, it wasn't that good, but like, and
that's
I
depressing.
get what they were going for though, because the whole thing, they wanted like the whole like thing to be like open and like ambient sounds. It's like, these are the sounds of the wild. Like, this is what it would be like if you were in nature. Like, you wouldn't have music really playing in you in nature. But
I think like maybe I'd give this game an 8. If I had to like give it a rating,
dang, I'd give it a hardcore 10.
A B or an 8. And I like we always say ratings like really stupid and all that kind of stuff. But like, just thinking about it, it's like, for me, music's like a huge part of the game. Like, that's why I sent you that Persona thing today. I'm like sitting there and I'm like,
absolutely, I could
just like zone out and be like, dude, like the memories and the feeling of like all this stuff that I was totally agree. And like going through Zelda, I can't. There was like maybe one time where like, oh yeah, this is a cool like ambient soundtrack, but
Yep.
like it's not memorable. There's nothing like that hooked me where if I listen to it again, I'm gonna be like, whoa.
Hyrule Castle is, but
well, yeah, maybe for that, but I like spent not that long in that.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I totally agree with that. The music was not that great. The story was not that deep, but I think the gameplay and like the grind and like the addictiveness of everything else is like enough to make up for all that. Like literally like going and finding all 120 shrines and like doing each shrine and having like this each individual like puzzle and like this one mechanic that you're trying to figure out and like all these things, and then how you have to like combine like some mechanics together, like you have to use like multiple runes at once to figure this stuff out. Like that reward system was way better than like if there was really good music and the story was super deep, like that would have just been like icing on the cake. But like the cake itself was still like amazing,
I guess.
To me, at least.
Nintendo gave you a little turd cake right there.
I don't think so.
But I'm also gonna say I think the shrines were too easy.
Some of them
because there were so many. Like I overthought. Did
you find 120?
No, I'm gonna say I did like maybe a third of them.
Okay.
Like 30 or 40 somewhere up in there. So yeah, probably closer to 30 because I had like a bunch of hearts and stamina and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, a fourth of them or whatever. Yeah, only a fourth, not that.
That's 25%.
Yeah.
There's a whole 75% of shrines you didn't do.
Correct.
And you're telling me,
but I don't.
Easy.
I'm gonna say that like because that's still 40 of them. You know what I mean? That's like a handful.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say like I feel like I was overthinking a lot of them too. Like there was that one where you it was kind of like there were a bunch of like pillars of air kind of going up, and then you could use your paraglider, and then you go up, and then you get to the top of them, but it doesn't take you up high enough in order to reach that thing. So I'm like saying, and the dude who I was like talking to or whatever, he's like, oh, this is a good one. I can't. You're not gonna be able to figure this one out. Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay. So the first thing I do is like I just dress Link down to like nothing because I'm like, wait, maybe his clothes hold weight, and maybe that's holding him down, and I do a little bit more, then it's gonna take him up there. No, naturally nothing happens, and I'm like, seriously, and then I'm like trying to start maneuver things around. I'm like, wait, what if I take this platform, move it here, and then do this stuff? No, and then I just like, there's nothing left. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let me just fly around this pill. Oh, there's a hole right there. Now I just. You know what I mean? Like I like the idea of like, okay, I'm gonna take down like maybe I weigh too much, so if I have on too much armor, then I'll move this thing here. But it was like. No, we're just not going to show you where it's at, so you got to, you know what I mean? And I was like, seriously?
Why didn't you fly around the pillar earlier?
Because I don't want them all to be like logic-based, but I feel like that was like more exploration than logic-based, and if these are puzzles, it's like, I would like this whole little like, it's like doing a Rubik's Cube or something where you're like messing around with that and like finding patterns and all that, and I'd be like, that was cool. I just feel like, okay, then maybe a good one, for instance, where it was like there were like constellations, and it's like, look for the answer towards the sky or whatever, and then across, like all the way down, it showed like a bunch of constellations on the back.
Yeah.
And then it showed the 4 separate like constellations, and basically you had to drop the ball in the number of times that the one constellation shows how many times it's on the back. So if the first one has 3 times it's on the back, okay, then you drop it in the third hole, blah blah blah. Because that was like that was like harder. We had to think because at first I'm like, wait, this one has this big dots, this one has this. Maybe it's how many dots here, and then you're kind of like figuring it out, and then going back and then being like, wait, they're back here. Blah, blah, blah. And then, okay, maybe I missed this one. And then it was like, okay. It was like logically a sound puzzle. Yeah. So there were like some good ones like that. But then there's also the ones where like you're at the Goron place and it's like, hey, you need to like race to the top or whatever and collect 300 rupees and then you get to go into the shrine. And then you walk into it. It's like, oh, you already passed the shrine. Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess it like makes sense.
Well, like the challenge of the shrine was doing the challenge outside. Yeah. And then you're just rewarded with the orb.
But see, now that's like the Goron dude should just been like, here's your orb for completing it. Like, why did I have to
Why would the Goron dude have the orb? If the orb is this mystical, like.
But then why did he have part of the shrine? Like, why was he an integral part of the shrine? You know what I mean? Did the shrine choose him and he forever had to stand there, and in order to go into the shrine, like. Dude, that's.
Yeah, but the shrine only awakens when the hero's there, and so, like, you had to get there. And that's the way you got there. That's like you had to.
But I could have walked in. He was just like, "No, I won't let you in." But should I just avoid it until he walked away? Like theoretically, like we're in this.
Yeah, this is real life, and he had to go take a poop. He'd probably get up eventually and walk away.
That's what I'm saying.
And you could have walked in. But it's a video game, so he didn't have to.
It was like the shrine's like it was a waiting game. You have been awarded the shrine for like
you have to play for 300 hours, and then that one unlocks.
Yeah. So like I'm not saying it was bad or anything. Like I'm saying it's like it's definitely it's well above passable. It's not. I don't think it's excellent by like any stretch of the imagination. But then again, it's like I can't tell you a game where I'm like this is excellent.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's very hard for me to choose something because everything that I play, it's like, okay, they blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
Even, like, because then you said, did you beat Odyssey? And it's like, yeah, I beat Odyssey.
But also, like, I can totally see, like, you beating Odyssey is, like, I got the required number of moons for every kingdom. Beat Bowser,
you know what I mean?
And I just got to the end. I beat Bowser at the end. I saw the cutscene where he flies off with Peach, and then That's the end of the game.
That's exactly what I did.
I know, and that's so wrong.
And then I went to the Mushroom
That's
Kingdom
like
for a bit.
Persona. If I just like breezed through Persona, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I just skipped every cutscene and just like did whatever. Oh,
But
yeah,
I
this
didn't
game
skip
sucks.
any cutscenes. You know what I mean? I
I guess,
watched everything.
but I'm just like, it's like if I didn't go around and explore, and I'm like, I didn't ever like go get a job. I didn't like go do anything. I just skipped every night. Every time I would leave the
I don't think
dungeon,
you can skip it in the game though.
Yeah,
See,
you
they're
can leave the
smart.
dungeon and then just go to bed. And I just like kept going and going to bed.
But you would
It's
have to go
different.
out of
But,
your
like,
way
I didn't
to
go
do
get a
that.
job. I didn't go. No, you wouldn't. All you would have to do is just go back home.
No, but
That's
you
the
would have to
easiest
every
way.
time be like, okay, let's meet up, let's go into the dungeon, let's leave the dungeon. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
It
And I'd
would
say,
be
all right, let's
more
leave the
work.
dungeon. And then I'm like, okay, cool. No, it's not, because then I would just go home, go to sleep. All right, hey, let's go to the dungeon. All right, we're in the dungeon. Oh, by that. Oh, let me go to sleep.
Correct.
Oh, let's go to the
Well, with
That's
that
it.
time, you
But
could've been
instead
like,
have
I'm
to
going
go
to the
get a job,
bathhouse.
and then I have to go to the bathhouse, and then I have to go to school,
That's
and then I have to do all this
time
other stuff.
management,
And the thing. And that's what I'm saying.
So
I'm
good.
just going to skip all that and then call this game a shitty game. Like, that's not a bad game. It's I just played it bad. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that comparison holds itself though.
Why?
Because it's not like I skipped. I did.
Yeah, I'm saying
I still beat everything like theoretically, and I wasn't like, oh, there's.
I guess,
there's
but
nothing compares-
I feel like you just did like just the main quests, and you just missed like all this other stuff. Like you just went like straight through. That's like if I listened to like a Fish song and only listened to like their greatest hits and was like, oh yeah, Fish isn't that great, and you're like, oh no, you got to listen to like the jams and how they go on like 20-minute jam sessions and all this extra stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't need the extra stuff. I already know what I need to know because I listened to their greatest hits. So like I already know.
No,
And you'd
but I
be like,
didn't
what the
play
hell are you
Zelda.
talking about? Like, no, you need to hear all this other stuff to really understand like what's going on. And I'm like, no, that's dumb. They should have put that on the greatest hits album.
Okay, I kind of.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't
Okay.
actually, because that would be like saying if I was like, you need to listen to this song, it gets like it's so good, you know, and it's like 20 minutes later, but then at the very end they just like didn't even like it was terrible. You know what I mean?
I guess.
It's like if like the whole like it's like, oh, this was good, it's building to something good, and I'm like, it's about to get really good, it's gonna explode, and you're like, that was terrible at the very end. Like it had a great build up, but then it just went to nothing. And that's what I feel is like it's not like saying I'm only picking the prime and then running with it, and and then it's like very like my prime is different than your prime, and then it's like we're arguing about what's better. It's more so like, okay, we're listening to the same track, and then when you get to the very end, it just like amounted to nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more so like that kind of thing where it's like if this game was,
But it only amounted to nothing because you didn't do all the extra stuff.
Yeah. No.
In the beginning, you know
kind of. No, but here's what I'm saying. Like, let's say those final battles were like epic. Like I feel they were meant to be. If you're telling me this is like a 10 out of 10 game and everybody's raving about it, then the first thing when I finished that game would have been like, I cannot wait tomorrow to start finding more shrines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that was my anticipation up until where it's like, okay, Thunderblight Ganon kind of pissed me off, and now let's see what happens with Ganon and everything. But instead of being like, wow, that was great, and now I want to dig back into everything, it was kind of just like, how many times do I have to ride this horse around and shoot these? You know,
I guess I don't get why you're so hung up on the horse though. Why don't you
Dude,
just
the
go do
horse.
more shrines where you don't have a horse?
too much bad taste. You know what I mean?
I guess that doesn't make any sense.
I had
but
to spit
okay.
it out.
I guess that like makes zero sense.
But then again, it's like you're saying the same thing about Mario, and it's like, okay, Mario was good. Like I just wanted to like beat Bowser. I don't have like 100 hours to like put in this game or whatever because I
I
want.
guess we got 100 hours to put into Persona.
Well, it's getting there or
And
whatever.
we
But
started 3 times.
But see, then that's different because it's like, okay, Mario's story is like, okay, the princess is kidnapped, Bowser wants to marry her, okay, go save the princess. And it's like, okay, like Mario's cool, we're all nostalgic for it. It's like it's a sound game. And like the level design, awesome, like all that mechanically, it's great and all that. So it's like whatever, it's like a fun time and it like hits you in the nostalgic feels like pretty hard because it's like we grew up with it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is like you're playing like Persona or something, and then you get like so deep in the story, and then you find like all these people are connected. And you're like, yes, show me. And like the battles are good, and then maybe they get hard, but it's like, okay, I can see that I need to grind here, and it's like basically like everything you expect to happen. I'm not saying is like it's happening in this expecting pattern, but it like at least makes sense as it's happening. Or if you're like, I need to go back and just if I'm gonna do this, then I got to go back and do this or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
the gameplay, that's my whole thing with like the gameplay of Persona is super boring.
Yeah.
Like all you're doing is just going through menus and hitting
But that's
X.
cool. But see now, like
And I
that's
guess
your
the whole
opinion.
thing.
That's not like saying I beat Persona in the very end. It was building to this great game, and then it's or like Mass Effect. Like the end of Mass Effect, where it was
Yeah.
like, dude, Mass Effect 3, worst ending. We're gonna petition.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not saying that this has like that level of extent, but I'm just saying I feel like the 10 out of 10 is definitely a hyperbole for that.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. I would give Odyssey a chance where it's like, let me do some endgame content because everybody says the game actually ends when, or the game begins in endgame content where it's like all this good stuff starts to happen. Like I went back to Peach's Castle. I started doing like some of that stuff. but not enough to be like, I don't know. But see, then again, it's like both of these games, I feel like they're way too easy. Like Nintendo's almost like, yeah, they're catering to a younger audience.
I guess.
But
I
it's like,
so.
I go back and it's like, oh, there's a shrine like literally right there in plain sight, or I got to jump here. Oh, there's another one. Or not a shrine, but you know what I mean? A moon and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that's totally like, they put that there for like younger kids to do. But like if you want to go through and find like, you can find impossible moons. Like there are moons where I died like 47 times trying to get one moon. Like it was impossibly hard. Like I got super pissed off, like crazy because this moon was so hard. I'm like, right, that's in the game too. But like, if you just want to breeze through it and just do easy mode, like, don't be mad that you played it on easy mode and that the game was too easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but I'm saying, like,
what
was
do you
there no
expect?
quality control at this stuff too? Like, I'm not saying like it's Nintendo. Obviously, there's quality control, but somebody like didn't play this and they were just like, okay, let's run through this end thing, and then it's like,
yeah, absolutely. But like to the 5-year-old kid who's like, but I didn't have the horse thing problem. My horse was.
Did
fine.
you have Epina, or who did you have?
No, I had just like a normal basic horse. And like just rid the horse and like it worked. I don't even think I saw a single tree like where you were even fighting. I don't even think there were any trees around there.
Oh no, there definitely trees.
Like I have
he was
no
running
idea.
into them, and then I like had to get off, and I was like,
yeah, I have no idea. Like I literally like got on the
horse.
For
me, there were actually 3 final boss fights in this game. There was you against like the Calamity Ganon,
right.
You against like Beast Ganon, and you against the horse. Like literally, like at the very end, I should just took the bow and arrow and been like put him out of his misery. And
I had no horse problems at all. I like got on the horse and she's like, "All right, hey, this is what you got to do." I'm like, "Sweet." Got the bow, knew to equip the bow because it was a new piece of gear. I'm like, "Sweet, I'll just equip it like I've equipped everything else in the game." Yeah. And I'm like, "I'm just gonna ride around." And she's like, "Hey, look at these glowing spots." I'm like, "Okay." All right, ride around. Do like the other side.
Okay. It took you one time, just one time.
And then, yep. And then it's just like done. I'm like, sweet. Keep riding around. Keep riding around. Oh, hey, look at his head. Okay. And just jumped off the horse. He did a little flip thing. Slow-mo. Right in the head. And then. And I was like, sweet. That was amazing. Literally took me 5 minutes. Like the easiest part of the game.
But I also, okay, I think that fact is compounded on the fact that I feel like the game almost made me wait to respawn my Goron shield rather than find a different way since all my other like gear was broken.
But you could have used Urbosa's Fury and done it. Why didn't you do that?
I could have, but then it's like that's almost. But I don't know. See, like
that's what I'm saying. But you
like
can't
I would have loved to beat the game without using the Divine Beast. But then that's like.
But that's part of the game.
That's my own. Then now it's treading onto like my own. Like how I feel about it personally, where the game gave me everything I needed. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So
like,
I don't find that as a valid complaint or anything.
Yeah. So what would you have rather had? Like you go into the battle and he's like, "Oh hey, all your Divine Beast stuff that you have is now like locked." Like the reason you went and saved all these Divine Beasts was so that you could get stronger and fight Ganon. Oh, but all the power ups we gave you, we're just gonna take away.
No, or it's like fight. Let's say you can only use them once. So it's like you use your 3 things, and if you die once, Mifa brings you back once, not on a timer. Like
yeah.
Okay, the timer's like whatever.
But then like you wouldn't have had the Goron shield thing.
But I'm saying like what's fun when it's that's what I mean. That's when it's like okay, then instead they should have done something where it's like I don't know. You know, but you know what I mean where it's like
I don't
there you go,
think
you know
so,
what I mean. You know what I mean?
I know.
Now you know what I mean.
I'm saying I don't know cuz
did weapons spawn in that room? Because I don't know if he was just shocking me and I was dropping weapons, or is there somewhere like there should have just been like if you ever play Diablo, it's like you run past stuff and it's just like on the back wall you hit a thing and then okay here's some broken.
Yeah, I don't know, but when
whatever.
You die, you respawn outside of the thing. You respawn.
I never
outside
died though, so I don't know.
Right, so if you beat him, you respawn out of the thing. So it's like that's like if I went into a boss in Bloodborne again with like no armor and my weapon from the start of the game, and I'm going to fight the final boss and he kills me. It's not like I'm locked in and have to do that. And I'm like, well, what the heck? Why didn't they provide me with awesome armor and weapons in the boss room? Like, that's
no,
BS.
I'm not saying it
like,
had to be like overpowered. I'm saying like give me like just a soldier's thing and
but they give you
just so
right, but they give you all that in Hyrule Castle when you explore Hyrule Castle.
I know, but who's to say like I'm just a really bad player or whatever, and then all my shields.
Yeah, well then you're gonna die a bunch, and then you're gonna learn. Hey, maybe I should explore Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, I guess. But see,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would rather have that than sit there for 2 minutes waiting for a shield to respawn and then only beat it.
Absolutely.
Because I basically waited for the biggest crutch in my life because I knew it was there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it's like, I honestly would have rather been like, I had that spec left and then died and then learned from it and then be like, okay, now I went back out, grabbed the gear I needed and all that. Whereas instead of like just, okay, I'm just going to run around a few times, he doesn't hit me. Oh, good, it respawned, clink, and then just hit him one time. So maybe that kind of took away from it too, where I do.
But it's also like, but you had so many other options, and you just chose.
I did have the option to die, but it's like
you had the option to die and restart. You had the options to use your shields and go into the battle with more shields. You had the option to wait and respawn. You had the option to use Urbosa's Fury. You had all these different options.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying
you know
like if you go to class and it's and the teacher gives you the answers to the exam. Like you have the option of getting the answers to the exam, okay? But then you just end up taking them, and then it's like, do you feel fulfillment and accomplishment for just like taking the answers, and then like, yeah, you passed the test, but you don't even know what you did on it other than memorizing. Okay, the test goes like ACDABA, something like that. So you just blah 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 checking on. And that's what happened with that, where I feel like, okay, well, here's your answers. You have all these little things on the side, and then they're on a timer in case you need them back. And then that's where because now theoretically I could have just went in there. Okay, I did all Divine Beast, and then I could have done Urbosa's Fury or whatever a few times. Use the shield deflected, Master Sword. Okay, now I'm gonna like just chill here for like 2 minutes, let everything respawn, and do it again. Which I mean, okay, it's fair. You can do whatever you want.
Didn't have to.
But now, okay, so the game's telling me like, I don't know, because
I think that's the thing. I think the game didn't tell you anything.
Correct.
The game literally just dropped you into a room and said, "All right, figure it out. I'm just gonna sit here."
But now, so you're telling me it's like,
you.
Okay, no, it's like, okay, no, now you should die because you don't want to use them again, or you could wait 2 minutes and then you're not gonna have to die.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It sounds like it's your own moral code is what's hindering.
My compass
you
is just
it's like it's your whatever your personal.
I think
thing
it stems from my internal problems manifested inside this game, and that was like
because so it seems like it's
wow, 10 out of 10. This game's way deeper than
because I had no issue using like Daruk's protection and like Urbosa's Fury and like whatever. I had zero issue using that to fight Ganon. And I'm like, cool, that's what the game like wanted me to do, and that's why the game gave me these tools. So
that's
I can use these tools.
I wanted to
but
do.
That's not what you wanted. But like that's a you problem. That's not a game. That's not the game's problem. That's a Ryan problem. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what's so interesting.
I think we solved we cracked the cookie in this one.
Massive it's really Zelda conundrum.
It's really not a game problem. It's a me problem.
There you go. That's all
M-I-I.
Exactly. Me problem, right? You didn't get. There's not enough me's in this game.
I mean, I guess so.
So. All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good Zelda discussion.
I guess so.
I'm glad you kind of enjoyed the game up until the end.
Yeah, it was great up until the end. Maybe one day I'll go back.
I don't know. I'm like struggling to find like what's a game that's like
10 out of 10.
There isn't one. Like
that's what I mean. I don't think
it doesn't exist. But like also 10 out of 10 to me, and like this was like a whole IGN thing, and I kind of really agree with it. A 10 out of 10 does not mean a perfect game. Like, it does not mean that the game has zero issues. It just means that the game is, like, a masterpiece. But not
like as a work of art. It's not like
right, it is not perfection. It's not saying it's perfection. Yeah. There are no glitches. There are no bugs. Literally everything is perfect in this game. That's not a 10 out of 10. That game does not exist. The perfect game is not out there for anybody. But, like, a 10 out of 10 is just saying, hey, this is, like...
It's a must play, like
as good as we can get to. Yeah, like you.
Or I would almost say it's
this
like
is a game that everyone would love.
I would almost put the scale on like more of like would you recommend to somebody? So if I was like, yeah, it's like an 8 out of 10, and then I'd be like I don't want to do it in like a perspective like where a reviewer's doing it to like push copies of the game, something like that, where people are like, this game's 10 out of 10, it's like a must play, I gotta buy it. But like a genuine recommendation to somebody, and they're like, what do you think about it? And like, yeah, whatever, like 8 out of 10. But then again, it's like, okay. Then I would say you always go back, like you were saying, Persona or whatever. Okay, I will give Persona like 9 or 10. So if you were to play a game, I'd be like, I think like, Persona's the more sound game that I could personally recommend over Breath of the Wild when you're going to put, 80 to 100 hours into something. Like just from that aspect of the rating, not like...
Yeah. Very interesting.
Because all that stuff kind of goes into it where it's like, well, that ending battle kind of took away from this, and then, because this or that happened, it kind of took away from, like, the experience. Because there could have been a few things changed, and then I would have been like, this is immaculate, now I want to go back and do everything, but...
Yeah.
There's 1,000 different ways it could have went.
Yeah.
It just decided to go that way.
Having to go this one way.
So now I got to go, I'll do Ocarina and then go from there.
All right.
I think I'm like more... Actually. Yeah, I think I'm actually more of like a linear kind of Zelda guy, like 100% though. Where I just want like a good...
The next one's going to be... It's still going to be like open and everything, but I think there's going to be like actual like temples and stuff in it.
Yeah, bring it on.
I love it. All right, cool. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below.
Sayonara.
Mofo.
We have to cut that. That's a bad word.
Oh no, it's not ad friendly.